This is P1 listener James Elliott, and you're watching the X Factor podcast. Now go be different or be invisible.
Welcome to the X Factor podcast. We just had a wardrobe change here in studio, and this podcast is brought to you by our friends at chinupchestout.com. That is my clothing brand. You can check out our summer collection right now at chinupchestout.com. Sign up for our newsletter, and you will get a promo code for 15% off, kids.
Do it.
We are also brought to you by our friends at Bottom Gun Coffee.
Yes. The best coffee, the best.
Go to bottomguncoffee.com, and my personal recommendation is Ahab's Revenge. JR's personal recommendation is the Morning Blend.
Yep.
Because, he gets more done before 8 a.m. than most people do all day, and that includes deadlifting, squatting, pressing, and showering and shaving.
Oh, yeah. The triple S. Yeah, fun fact, I get up before Jocko. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah. So he gets up at like 4:15, 4:20, and like, come on, dude. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, amateur hour. Come on, man.
It is amateur hour, but you know, he's young, so whatever.
So, JR.
Yeah.
Special episode today.
Yes.
Our last couple episodes were X Factor infomercials, X Factor marketing campaigns.
Love them.
And today we are going to exercise our Second Amendment rights on this show.
Yes.
And we're going to host our first rapid fire, where for those of you watching or listening at home, first of all, thank you for tuning in. We know you have a lot of choices out there. We thank you for choosing us here at the X Factor Podcast. Subscribe, like, rate, review, leave a comment. You could leave us a voicemail. All the links are in the show notes. Everything you need to know about the show is in the show notes as well. And did I mention subscribe?
Yes.
That's the best way you can help us grow this thing is subscribe. But anyway, kids, we're going to do a rapid fire.
Yes.
Where I'm going to ask John 10 questions, and he is going to ask me 10 questions. I don't know what he's going to ask me in advance. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him in advance. We never prepare for this show together. You thought it was saying we never prepare for the show. That was a pregnant pause on purpose. We just don't prepare together. We pick a topic, like let's say X Factor marketing campaigns. He brings his idea, I bring my idea, and we just let it rip on air without comparing. And it's fun because we learned probably in like episode 2 that philosophically we line right up together on most things, and we're kind of on the same page, singing, playing on the same sheet of music, whatever you want to call it. So this will be interesting to see how rapid fire goes, because John is so organized, he doesn't go to the bathroom without a written plan. And I am so ADD that I often don't remember what I prepared, or I just don't have anything prepared. I just kind of have ideas floating around in my head. So we're going to fire away rapid fire style at each other. 10 different things, like what's X Factor about this? Or what's X Factor about that? Or tell me an X Factor such and such kind of thing. And you're nodding along and saying yes in agreement like I'm talking to you. I'm talking to our listeners. In theory, you already know this, John.
Well, to be honest with you, this is the first rapid fire episode I've ever been on. So I'm agreeing with you because I'm acknowledging that sounds like a plan, because we didn't really plan this well. We just said we're going to do rapid fire, and as you describe it, I'm mentally preparing myself because I didn't really do enough preparation. What's
Parker, if you're not watching on YouTube, Parker's changed his background each of the last 3 episodes to reflect political personalities in this time, this chaotic time that we're living in. And this one's huge. I'll just leave it at that. Head on over to our YouTube channel, subscribe, like the episode, leave a comment, and tell us what you think of Rapid Fire when it's all said and done here. John, you want me to go first?
Sure, because I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm prepped. I got Google on the ready. Oh, no, we can't.
You're not allowed to use technology. This is all stream of consciousness, top of mind.
All right.
Okay. Tell me something X Factor about like a home improvement product or like some sort of home good or maybe something like that you would install when building a house.
All right, let's say X Factor. Let's go with X Factor roofs, or because I know there's typically you get those shingles that are out there, or you get like in California they have like a
12-year shingle landscape.
Yeah,
shingle.
That's what you normally get, like a 12-year shingle, right? And then in California,
architectural. That's what I meant. Yep.
Yeah, architectural. And so in California they've got those clay. I don't know what those are called, but they're something you couldn't have in New England, right? But one of the
Florida too. They have they almost look like a shingle on like a Mexican you'd find in a Mexican
like
village.
Adobe, or I don't know what the name of those are, but here's what I would say is an X Factor roof. If you live in an area that is it's got a lot of snow, and that is a tin roof is X Factor, because the fact that typically you go in those northern territories, they're going to give you a tighter pitch on the roof, and they're going to give you a tin roof so that snow will actually come off easier. And so tin roofs are the way to go if you're in that kind of a region.
Excellent. X Factor paint.
Oh, I don't get to go next?
No, I give you 10. You give me 10.
Oh, I got to do the whole thing. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
This is my back getting sore from carrying you.
Okay. Vanta Black.
Why?
Vanta Black is the blackest black ever invented, and it is only allowed to be used by one artist. At all, and it's made with nanotubes, lining up nanotubes. If you want to know what the blackest black is, it's called Vanta Black, and it's so black that if you paint something with that, you cannot see its shapes and shadows, because so you can paint a 3D object, and it looks like it's flat because there's absolutely no shapes and shadows. So look it up. It's a crazy thing. Vanta Black, X Factor.
So what you're telling me is if I got a Vanta Black t-shirt,
yes,
it would look like my stomach was flat.
100%. Yes.
Sweet. So somebody, Parker, find me those t-shirts and order me like 100 of them. X Factor furniture, John.
Furniture, you got to go with IKEA, right? So, so think about that idea, that brand, right? So you want to make money, right? So what do you do?
IKEA, not idea.
IKEA. Yeah.
Think about that idea.
Well, think about the idea of this is that you want to make something that's stylish, right? But you also want to make it cheap so you make money. So they have found this way to get people to go to their stores and buy furniture that comes in a box. You got to assemble it yourself. It's cheap. It's made in China, but it looks cool. And so you're willing to buy it.
It's made in Sweden. It's Swedish.
Yeah, it's Swedish design, but it's made in China. China. So I think it's brilliant how they've done it. So people think IKEA is cool. I'm not a big IKEA fan, but they sell cheap Chinese furniture. You have to build by yourself, and they do it in a way so people think they're getting something special. Amazing.
To your point, JR, fun fact, in my will, yes. I have it written in my will that I've invited 10 people that I know don't get along with each other at all. And they will be tasked with building my IKEA casket together.
Yes, I like this.
To force drama or force them to mend fences and get along before they throw me in it and bury me.
I like that. That's a good one. I like it.
So that was 3. Number 4.
3. Yes.
X Factor. The Parker's like calling audibles over there, counting with his fingers.
Yeah. I'm closing my eyes to
That's a
concentrate.
Liberty University degree hard at work right there. He had to count with his fingers to 4. Tell me something X factor about seating. Seating.
Like
not SEEDING, like SEATING. Like flying by the seat of your pants, that kind of seating, like what I'm doing right now, flying by the seat of my pants. X factor, seating.
All right, so let's go with this. So you remember back in the day, this is probably in the 80s, that you were supposed to sit on an exercise ball. That was like a thing, right? To sit on
those big Pilates balls or whatever. Yep.
And then there was the thing that you were supposed to sit on. You're supposed to kneel. You ever seen those chairs where they force you to sort of in a kneeling position? That was sort of the thing. But it turns out that none of those things are really good. What you really need is a stand-up desk. You really need to be standing. So they say that sitting is the new like the new cigarette, right? It's like smoking, right? So you got to get up, you got to stand up. So eliminating seating, standing up is sort of the better way to go. So we've seen office chairs evolve to where they finally got rid of them completely.
You just went all, was it Bob Marley on us? I think you got to get up, you got to stand up.
Get up, stand up.
Stand up, follow you. All right. That's good. X factor weapons of warfare. Number 5.
So I would have to go with the Sea-Whiz, also known as R2-D2. It is a close-in weapon system that's on every U.S. Navy ship, and it has a Gatling gun and a radar. So it identifies a target, and it automatically points to that target and fires spent uranium rounds at some crazy like 100 per second. It's nuts. And if you ever seen one of these things, it just makes one continuous noise. You can't hear the gun firing it. It makes that many noises. So the Sea-Whiz weapon system is what I would say is the best weapon in the war. I think that has the X factor. It's been around a long time.
Nobody beats the
rounds
Whiz.
a minute.
What's that?
3,000 rounds a minute.
3,000 rounds a minute.
It's the Phalanx.
It's also known as the Phalanx. Yeah, Sea-Whiz. Yep, Phalanx.
That was number 6, right, Parker? Counting with your fingers. That was 5?
That was 5, yeah.
Okay. Number 6, X factor decorations.
Oh, it's got to be
like a wall hanging or something like that.
Yeah, no. It's got to be candles in the window for Christmas. That's what you do. Everybody does it.
All right, you go colored candles or
never go
white?
Colored. No, you never go full colored.
Yeah, it's white trash, right? That's trash.
White. You gotta put it
white colors class, right?
So in the South, they build houses with a place to plug in your lights right below each of the windows, because they know everybody in the South puts a white candle in their window. Yep.
That's class.
Yep.
X factor. This would be 7. Tell me something X factor about like paper or X factor type of paper.
Well, paper. Let's go with let's go with the original tracing paper, right? Really thin paper that you can actually trace something through, so thin that you can almost see through it. So my favorite kind of paper when I was a kid, I was always trying to learn how to draw, try to figure out how to do things. And so one of the ways I learned was by tracing originally when I was a kid. So I always loved tracing paper.
Yeah, like you trace the pictures on your dad's Playboy collection. You trace the outline of the pictures.
Trace that little teddy bear right there. Yeah.
Okay, number 8. X factor surfaces or surface, singular.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with this. I'm from New Hampshire, which is also known as the granite state, live free or die. So I've always enjoyed granite surfaces. So whether that's countertops or what have you, but I like a granite surface, even though it, emits radiation. I think that's good for you.
It explains a lot with you then. I didn't know it emitted radiation.
It
This
does,
explains
absolutely.
so much.
Yeah.
Between that and the lead paint in your house, like I've learned so much about you in a short amount of time.
Absolutely.
Okay, granite surfaces.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah.
X factor images.
I think
Parker's figured out what I'm doing, but go ahead.
I think you and a mankini probably would be the image that's been seared in my mind since we started this show that I can't get out. So I'm going to have to go there. That was X Factor because I can't get it out of my head. So, yeah.
Game changer. Yep.
That was something changer. I don't know. When I'm in an institution in a straitjacket, I'm going to keep saying it's a mankini, and they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, that's what's going to make me go crazy someday.
Okay, number 10, X Factor knobs. Not like a knob or a handle.
Oh, I say clearly the handicap push button that you get when you go to some commercial properties where you can just push it and the door opens on its own. That's X Factor right there.
Does it really open on its own? Like, what if you have no arms? That button's useless, man. And it's supposed to be for handicapped people. It's only for handicapped people that have arms, apparently.
Legs.
What happened to just those sensors? When they wheel up on it, it just opens like the red.
I know, isn't that funny that those things normally work, but then when they don't have it, they have a button, which doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. But yeah.
So JR, if you haven't figured out what I was doing, turn around and take a look at your office behind you.
I see. All right.
So pretty much every question I asked you stemmed from me seeing something in the background behind you and using that as fodder.
Okay. Well, how'd I do?
I thought you did a fabulous job. I wouldn't have gone tracing paper in a million years. You pulled that straight out of 1970. That was impressive.
I have no idea. I was lost.
Very impressive.
I was lost and confused. So,
Days.
Well, now I got to do it for you. So, are you ready?
This is P1 listener James Elliott, and you're watching the X Factor podcast. Now go check your penis.
All right. Number 1. Okay. Tell me an X Factor crustacean and why.
X Factor crustacean has to be a blue lobster.
Ooh.
I'm from Maine. Blue lobsters are very rare.
Yes.
And many people didn't even know blue lobsters existed.
I did not.
But you become just so blind to lobster up here that, like, you can see a massive lobster, like a seafood restaurant or the grocery store or whatever, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Like, they all look the same.
Right.
Every time there is a blue lobster that gets caught by a fisherman anywhere, often up here, we are the home of the lobster, really. Yep. It is front page news in the paper. It is all over every television station, the radio. Like, people are always talking about it. So, like, be different or be invisible, crustaceans.
A blue lobster is absolutely a rare occurrence. Fun fact, Coach Brew, do you remember we were trying to name this podcast? Blue lobster was on the list.
It was.
But it was so weird, nobody would get it. So it ended up not being on the list.
I mean, that's one of those things, like, thank God we didn't do that. So, like, Florida Georgia Line, the country band, almost named themselves Orange Peach.
Oh, jeez.
Because Georgia's the peach state and Florida's oranges. They almost named themselves Orange Peach. Florida Georgia Line, much, much better option.
Yeah. You need to get that?
No.
Okay. All right. Number 2. Good job on the blue lobster. I like that. So, X Factor lead guitarist in a rock band, and why?
X Factor lead guitarist in a rock band.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to say Eddie Van Halen. It'd be really easy to say Eddie Van Halen. I'm going to go, and this is a throwback to, I believe, episode 37.
Yeah.
Billy, what's his name from ZZ Top?
Oh, yeah.
The skinny guy. Billy, what was his last name? This is rapid fire. Come on.
Billy Gibbons?
Gibbons. Billy Gibbons. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
I'm going to go Billy Gibbons. I mean, talk about doing something your own way at a very high level for 5 decades.
Yep.
And his the other half of the duo just passed away.
Yep.
Rest in peace. I forget his name.
Dusty Hill.
Dusty Hill. Thank God we have Parker. I've never said that before. But I would have to say Billy Gibbons because he's a guy that could really kind of cross genres with what he did, and he did it like no one else.
I like that.
I could have said Van Halen because that just described him minus the longevity piece.
Right. Yeah.
And shameless self-promotion of one of our previous episodes.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Go watch it. Go listen to it, kids.
And we recorded it before he died, too. That was kind of interesting.
I think we killed him. We recorded it right before he died.
Say that.
We released it the day he died.
Okay. That's right. All right, number 3. What makes coffee the X Factor?
What makes coffee the X Factor is it is potent, it is potable, and it is, what's potable even mean? Is that another word for portable?
Drinkable.
What?
Water is drinkable water. Yeah, it's drinkable.
It's potent, it's potable, and it's portable.
Oh, I like that.
And it is versatile. It's one of those things like it could be a drink unto itself. You could make it Irish and add alcohol to it. You could use coffee as simply a flavoring. Like we went out for ice cream yesterday. My wife got coffee ice cream. Right? Some people eat chocolate-covered coffee beans.
Yes.
It is potent, it is potable, and it is portable.
I can't argue with that. That's great. Absolutely. All right. So, best pre-made breakfast snack our breakfast snack, pre-made breakfast snack that has the X Factor.
The best pre-made breakfast snack is the Pop-Tart.
Yes.
Hands down. Now, really,
100%.
if you think about it, the Pop-Tart is not an original idea.
Yes.
It's essentially a breakfast ravioli that you put in your toaster.
I agree.
The breakfast ravioli that you put in your freaking toaster.
Yes.
And there's a disclaimer I have to add to this. It is an X Factor breakfast snack only if you get a frosted Pop-Tart. Who the hell are these people who go unfrosted Pop-Tart?
Those are communists.
You can't trust those people.
What
no,
flavor?
not at all.
You may as well just eat 2 pieces of toast and slap some jam on it.
Yeah, that's
Be better. Be better. Most underrated Pop-Tart is brown sugar cinnamon. Frosted brown sugar cinnamon.
Yeah.
Underrated Pop-Tart.
It is very good.
A lot of people say,
so
strawberry's the best, or blueberry, or like double chocolate. No, brown sugar cinnamon.
I do like brown sugar cinnamon, but I prefer raspberry is my top. Frosted raspberry is
because it has the red frosting. That's how you can tell the difference between a strawberry and a raspberry before you bite into it.
Yes,
kids. Strawberry has white frosting with all the rainbow colored sprinkles.
Yes,
Cinnamon's so good though.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
The
good.
best. Yep.
All right. So next question. We're on number 5. Favorite. Okay. What makes urinal cakes the X Factor?
What makes urinal cakes?
Yeah. Why do urinal cakes have the X Factor?
I think urinal cakes have the X Factor because they are nature's little powerhouse. And here's what I mean by that. Like something that small
Yeah.
has the ability to reduce, if not eliminate, odor in a very disgusting environment.
Yes.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
It also serves as a target, like in the little kid.
Oh, yes.
The little kid urinals. It's a target for kids who are just getting potty trained and have bad aim.
Yeah.
You've got a target dead center right in the bottom where it needs to go. Okay? In the adult urinals, all the drunks at the bar and at the restaurant who are like just like barely stand up and could be like spraying it everywhere, gives them a target.
Yep. I like it. So it's a target and it also eliminates odors.
And you don't have to, it's not like you have to take them out. Like when they melt and they're gone, they've taken care of themselves.
Because nobody wants to take something out of a nasty toilet.
No, you just replace it with a new one.
Yeah. All right. That's good.
I have a funny urinal cake story for you, though.
Of course you do.
So I was tailgating at a football game in college, and one of my friends, we were all tuned up pretty good, headed into the game. We stopped at a porta potty. A bunch of us had to go to the bathroom, and one of my friends went in there, and he was kind of pissed off at another buddy of ours. But like they've been friends since they're little kids. They're like an old married couple. So he's just decided like he's going to go in there, go to the bathroom, and then take the urinal cake out of the urinal in the porta potty. And as soon as he came out of the door, he just threw it to his buddy Ryan. He's like, "Ryan, catch!" And like natural instinct, the kid just put his hands out, and just this urinal cake just splattered and shattered in his hand, sprayed everywhere.
Oh, that's nice.
It's gross, but like if you knew leading up to all that what that kid did, probably had it coming to him.
It probably had it coming to him.
Yeah. So when I think of urinal cakes, my mind immediately goes there. It's a visual that I can't get out of my head.
Yep. Well, that's
it's called oversharing, folks.
It was oversharing, but I think it's a great story. Absolutely.
We're on what, number 6?
Favorite? We're on number 6. Give me an X Factor fall flavor.
An X Factor fall flavor. There's one and only one X Factor fall flavor, and that is pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
'Tis the season, Mr. Rennie, because I was just in the grocery store. They have pumpkin spice Special K cereal, and they have pumpkin spice Cheerios already.
Yes.
Now, technically, this is like the grocery store. Technically, it's kind of like, when Home Depot puts out all the Christmas decorations in October to beat Lowe's to the punch.
Right.
Technically, this is what the grocery stores are doing. They're putting out, like, it's a premature, deliberate attack. They're putting out pumpkin spice items before Starbucks officially declares for basic white girls everywhere that it is PSL season, pumpkin spice latte season. I'm not exactly sure when that is. I just know it's not yet.
It gets earlier every year.
It's earlier every year, just like Christmas. You may as well just put your Christmas tree up at this point. 4th of July already happened. But pro tip, the best pumpkin spice thing you can order is the pumpkin scone at Starbucks. It's a pumpkin scone with vanilla and like pumpkin spice frosting.
It has like cinnamon, a little bit of cinnamon on it.
Yeah, it is. It's the best thing.
All right.
I've seen it. Haven't had it, but it looks like there's cinnamon stuff on it too.
Yeah,
like Pop-Tart on steroids.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago you did your pumpkin spice latte videos or pumpkin spice videos?
Pumpkin spice everything.
Yeah, it was
in review videos.
You did it like a daily video, and you gave a business lesson, and you tried.
I might have to do that again.
Yeah, that was really good, really good. So pumpkin spice, I knew it would be that. That's why I had to ask. All right, so next question.
7?
This is on number 7. Give me an X Factor Evil billionaire astronaut.
There are a couple of them. It could be Elon Musk. It could be Jeff Bezos. Jeff
I could be
Bezos.
the Virgin Atlantic guy. Richard Branson.
Richard Branson, Charles Bronson. Get those two confused.
Right.
But the biggest evil billionaire bastard has to be Jeff freaking Bezos.
Oh, I knew it was
Because
coming.
he spent $5 billion to spend 13 minutes in outer space.
And he made his rocket ship look like a giant penis.
That son of a bitch, instead of riding a space dick out into the atmosphere, could have solved world hunger for $5 billion. Get over yourself, jackass. No wonder your wife left you for a school teacher in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, that was worth it. That was worth it.
Man.
I've never seen someone look more awkward and completely out of place wearing a freaking cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah, that was just, it was embarrassing for
He
the
looked
world.
like he made the Village People's JV team in that hat.
Please tell me he's not American. Is he Canadian? Please tell me he's Canadian.
He should be Canadian. We should evict him and then build a wall on the Canadian border and make them pay for it. And they can have Celine Dion and Justin Bieber back too while we're at it.
All right, that's a good one. That was number 7. Number 8. Number 8. So what makes the state of Maine, what gives the state of Maine that X factor?
Overweight, middle-aged women, high taxes. It's extremely liberal. Winter starts like around Halloween and doesn't end until the 4th of July. You know, we've got black flies most of the spring into the summer, a mud season for about 6 weeks, March into April. It's just a really attractive destination. We're ranked 49th. We're the 49th worst state to do business in. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to just pick up and get in your covered wagon and move here immediately.
Wait, you didn't give me any good things about it.
Oh, we have a lot of women who wear flannel and drive Subarus.
What kind of Subarus, if you don't mind?
Usually like a Forester or an Outback, if you want me to be really specific.
They're all softball players, right?
It's never like a Subaru XT Coupe with a spoiler and, you know, ground effects and chrome wheels. No, sorry.
Okay, well, that was a good one. Number 9.
Really, we're like New Hampshire's ugly cousin. It really makes you want to move here.
It is very true. Yeah, absolutely. All right, number 9, an X Factor type of fondue.
An X Factor type of fondue?
Yeah, what a type of fondue that has the X Factor.
So this is very much personal preference.
Yes.
If I'm going to be eating hot fondue at one of those like melting pot kind of hot fondue places, probably my vice, whether it's melted or solid, is not chocolate. Like I would rather have a good piece of cheese after a meal than a good piece of chocolate. Like, and I like sweets. They have their place. So I would say like a nice melted cheese fondue, not something foofy like brie or, you know, like give me like a sharp cheddar, like Cabot cheddar from Vermont.
Yeah.
Some kind of melted cheddar that I could dip something delicious into. That's my idea of a very decadent hot fondue X Factor type thing. Now, again, personal preference, but also, isn't cheddar cheese American?
It is, yeah.
American cheese is American, but American cheese really isn't like really cheese.
No,
It's
no.
kind of like a mutt. It's like if it were a dog, it would be a mutt.
It would be a mutt.
But
It'd be a rescue. It wouldn't be a mutt.
yes, yes. So explain this to me. Like if you see a parent with a kid on a leash,
Yeah.
apparently it's offensive to ask them if the kid's a rescue. I asked that of a family in the mall the other day, and they were offended. I thought it was a legit question. You get a kid on a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is it a rescue?
Yeah. Did you see Joe Biden with a kid on a leash? I don't know if that's.
No, he was at like a Chuck E. Cheese with kids and just, yeah. Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself.
Exactly. Well, that's good. All right, final one.
Are we at 9 or 10?
No, this is 10. That was 9. Cheese fondue was 9. This is number 10. Name something about Ronald Reagan that made him the X Factor.
He is quoted with saying, "We're all only one generation away from, was it losing our freedom?
Losing our liberty, yeah.
Yeah, losing our liberty. Or, if we don't remember like where we came from in history, we're one generation away." And I thought that was very eloquently put. It's also very timely right now. And the interesting thing was it was very prescient of him because we weren't really at that place at the time that he said that.
Right.
But, there's a guy who was an actor, not a politician, not a scholar, not a historian, but he was aware of that.
Yep.
And some of that warning is kind of coming to roost right now. So that would be a positive X Factor thing. I think, be different or be invisible. He might be the only human being I've ever heard of who likes black jelly beans.
Yes,
he used to keep that big jar of jelly beans on his desk in the Oval Office. That was Clinton when it was the Oral Office. My bad. Yeah. And he would always eat the black jelly beans, and like all the other flavors would be left for everybody else who came in. That's just weird. That's different. That is very different. Usually you pick the black ones out and you throw them away. Like, if you're going to eat something that's flavored like licorice, just eat the licorice. Like, eat licorice. Right.
That is a strange thing to like. Yeah. One of the things I think is funny as I think back about those days is that the mainstream media used to make fun of him being senile. They used to say he was senile. He would fall asleep in meetings, and he's too old.
Joe Biden makes him look like a Rhodes Scholar.
But there's no one ever saying that about our current president, who literally doesn't know what's happening. But yet, Reagan faced so much scrutiny over his being old and senile, and the current president, nothing's ever discussed on that subject. I think that's kind of interesting.
I do too. I will say at the end of Reagan's tenure, his second term, it was probably was a little like Weekend at Bernie's in the White House.
Yeah.
Cognitively, he was dwindling. But before that, he was sharp as a whip. My favorite Ronald Reagan story, and this isn't exactly rapid fire, but my favorite Ronald Reagan story was he was asked by his press secretary, Michael Deaver, to do a photo shoot and to sling his jacket over his shoulder for this photographer that was going to take some pictures of him, like in the East Lawn of the White House or wherever. He's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." He said, "Why not? It's like a classic pose." He's like, "Because I would never do that in real life. That's inauthentic, and people would see right through that as being phony. The voters, my constituents, would see right through that, that was, you think about, like, he's in the highest office and how important, quote, optics seem to be all the time. And he was well aware that, what people want is the real you. They want authenticity. And the irony of that is there's a guy who was an actor who got paid handsomely to pretend to be somebody he wasn't.
Yep. Yeah. And he understood authenticity. Yep. That's really powerful. The good stuff. Well, you did well, Coach Brew. I got all 10.
You did too, man.
Yeah, that was good. Except for tracing paper. I don't know where that came from.
I thought it was really good. You
got
might have
something.
gone with rolling paper. I'm glad you didn't.
ZZ Top. I could have went with rolling paper. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yes.
so I have
DFE.
3 X Factor topics for both of y'all.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
This is the bonus round, apparently.
Oh, this is the bonus round. Okay.
All right. So first topic, Olympic activities. So like the actual, like what they're doing, not the actual people doing them, but like what they're doing, like shot put, discus, track and field.
Curling. Come on. Curling is the most unusual thing I've ever seen in my life. And the fact that the US curling team looks like 4 dads that made a bet and ended up in the Olympic Games. I mean, you could have any body style and be an Olympic curler. So
I'm gonna have the exact same answer for a very different reason. If you're listening to this and you're driving, I want you to pull over. And I want you to take out your smartphone. I want you to Google the Canadian women. Go to Google Images. Don't go to Google. Go to Google Images. Canadian women's curling team calendar. This is the most X Factor thing ever. I think they use this to raise money for a charity. But the Canadian women's curling team, first of all, they're all beautiful. They're drop dead gorgeous. They all posed nude, tastefully covering up, those areas, but they all posed nude for like one of those 12-month calendars that they sold, like an actual print calendar that they sold as a fundraiser all across the country of Canada. And number one is for a good cause, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the charity. Number two, they got global media attention for an amateur sport of curling, which is basically pushing a rock on ice and brushing the ground with a broom. Yeah. Like, if you want to call that a sport, go ahead. More power to you. You're crazy. But they got global media attention for this, and they raised a bunch of money, and people now know that Canada has a women's curling team. It's incredible. And
it's funny, I think of curling as like that might be a sport that I could actually make the Olympics in. But I always remember when I was a kid, like you sort of fantasize about like, oh, I want to be in the Olympics someday. Well, what sport could I do? And I always thought that I could be like the middle guy on a 4-man bobsled team. Because what does that guy actually do? Like, I mean, I know you push the thing and then you jump in, but then you just, lean? I think I can lean. Like, you know what I mean? I always thought that I could be like, not the guy who steers, who's really important, or the guy that brakes, who's really important. So the front and the back guy, but the one in the middle, the 2 guys in the middle, I thought I could be one of those guys. So. Anyways.
Yeah, the Sports Illustrated covered that women's curling. It was Women of Curling in 2009. Sports Illustrated covered it. It's been an annual event. I can't tell you just how impressed I am with them.
Okay.
All right. So that was the first one.
Curling.
All right. Second one. X Factor current trends, except hold on. So we're not going to say what are some current trends you just can't get behind. It's going to be what current trend is going to look the silliest or like the dumbest in 10 years. X Factor current trends.
Socialism. You're going from protesting everything to bread lines in 10 years, and you're going to wish that you hadn't done that.
Yeah, I would go with masks. I think that I just don't think it's doing anything, but it's except for signaling something. You're signaling you're safe. You wear it for other people, not for yourself. It's I think especially wearing a mask in a car by yourself, that's going to be the ultimate. We look back on and think that's the dumbest thing we've ever seen.
All right. Okay. So last is X Factor apps.
Apps.
Yep, like phone apps.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
That was going to be an episode. It's going to be an episode because I'm going to give you a different answer than the answer that I will give when we do X Factor apps as an episode. John's choking over there. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Diet Mountain Dew went down the wrong
Mountain Spew. That's my problem.
Yeah. You go first, JR. What do you got?
I know this will be the dumbest thing ever that anyone will answer, but I believe that it's the greatest app ever, and it's called Tiny Scanner. It's the ability to take a picture with your camera, and it actually scans the document, creates a PDF that you can mail to somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know why. That seems like to me like you don't have to own a scanner anymore. You can use your phone to scan a document, and I don't have time to figure out a scanner. I just want to like snap and go. So creating a PDF from taking a picture, which Tiny Scanner is what I use.
Yeah, there's a lot of apps that do that.
I don't know. That just to me is like, as an old guy, that to me is PFM, pure freaking magic. So that's boring, but that's what I like. What do you got, Coach Brew?
I'm just doing my due diligence. There are a lot of directions I can go with it. I think the X Factor app, I'll just show you what I think is the X Factor app in my world. And then I'll tell you a little story about it. Do you see that?
Looks like a blank screen. There's something down at the bottom. Oh,
The Zippo lighter app.
It's the Zippo lighter app. When you're at a concert, you can go like this. With your phone, go all old school as if you had a real lighter.
Oh my gosh. That is a thing?
Close it like that. You can open it like that and then light it. If you're listening to this podcast instead of watching, you need to be watching it. The flame moves as you move.
Oh my God.
Landscape instead of portrait, and the flame turns up. And then you just close it like that.
Holy cow.
So that's an X Factor app for that reason. Now, fun fact, and I want somebody to add this to my Wikipedia page, which I don't have yet, but I should.
You should, yeah.
Is I invented the cell phone lighter thing at concerts before it was invented at concerts. Before it was used, instead of an actual lighter, the cell phone light, it used to be flip phones, and you'd flip it up, and you'd have that little white screen.
Yeah.
People would hold their flip phone up and do it. I invented that because I have been doing that since the original big brick Nokia cell phones were a thing.
Yeah.
Back in the late 90s.
Really?
Fun fact, I was doing that before it was ever done at concerts because this is back when I was still coaching. And one of the things we would do is we would have karaoke on the bus. And usually we'd bring the freshmen up, and this was part of freshman initiation. You'd have to get on that little CB radio intercom that the bus driver would have, stand in the front of the bus. We'd hold a couple of flashlights over the kid, he had the spotlight beaming down on him.
Yeah.
And he would we'd pick a song that he would have to sing karaoke along to that we'd play on the bus speakers as well, and then we'd turn the music off once he got started and he had to sing it. And then if he was doing good, I would have the kids all take their cell phones and light them up and start swaying in unison with said phone well before any other documented case of doing so.
Wow.
And I will go to my grave stating emphatically that I invented that whole concept before it was ever used by anybody at, like, an arena for a rock concert or whatever. Like, that was me.
I like it. That's cool.
All right.
And then somebody decided to do like a fake Zippo lighter app.
That's pretty wild. I got to get that. Although I have a real Zippo lighter, but
so that app came in handy when I got vaccinated.
This is P1 listener Sarah Swenson, and you're listening to the X Factor podcast, the place I go each week to find recommendations for other podcasts.
Yeah.
For during the pandy, they had a vaccination clinic. I don't even know if I'm allowed to use that word. Should I just say jab? When you get jabbed?
Yeah.
So they had a clinic at
we'll get the warning.
The professional basketball arena here in Portland, People's Republic of Portland, and you're basically kind of walking through this maze to get to your station where you're going to have that done. And then they put you in the other half of the arena in like a seated area where you have to wait 5 minutes so you don't collapse or have side effects, or 15 minutes, whatever it was. They put a timer on you have to wait there. Well, this thing was so upscale that a musician was performing kind of in the center of the court, so to speak. He's playing the cello, and he is from the Portland Symphony Orchestra. And people weren't really like paying much attention to him at all. He didn't have his case open for tips or anything. He just had the day off and decided to donate his time. So I went over, I just started talking to him, and he started rocking out, playing. He's like, is there anything you want me to play? I said, how about just something upbeat? I'd love to see people just kind of like, they're all just sitting there staring at their phones, like, put a little pep in people's step here. So he plays something really upbeat. I take out my lighter and I stand up like in the crowd and I start doing my little Zippo lighter app on my phone, and people turned on their flashlights on their phone and started waving them back and forth back at me. And when he finished that song, everybody clapped. Before that, people were ignoring him. They did background noise. I thought it was really cool that he donated his time. I decided to kind of try and find a way to give him the props that he deserved, and I used a Zippo lighter app, and it kind of bothered me because I invented that whole concept before it was a concept.
Oh, good. Right. Well, that's a fun fact. I didn't know that. So next time I do that in a concert, I'll know Coach Brew invented it. Yeah.
You should live stream doing so, giving me proper attribution verbally.
I will. I don't have any concerts planned, but I'm obsessed with a new band that's out there. So I gotta go see them. Not Wham. I think they're dead. What? The Bee Gees? I think they're dead. Yeah,
ABBA?
I think they're dead. No. Have you heard of Mammoth? Mammoth WVH? No, it is Eddie Van Halen's son has a band, and
cool.
He's got his first album out, and he actually records wrote the music, recorded every instrument, and
probably the only way you can make money on music right now.
I think so. And now, of course, he's hired a band and hired musicians, and they're on tour now, and they're opening for Guns N' Roses, and they've got, I don't know, 12, 14 songs on the album, and every one of them is amazing. So
are you going to go see them?
Say again?
You're going to go see them?
Yeah, they're opening for Guns N' Roses here in Raleigh. I'm thinking about going, but I'm obsessed. I don't necessarily want to see Guns N' Roses. I want to see Mammoth. I mean, I like Guns N' Roses like anybody else, but this band's really good. If you haven't heard it, it's Eddie Van Halen's son. He's amazing voice. He plays drums, bass, guitar. He wrote all the music, and it's a phenomenal artist. I mean, you can tell he's got that lineage. So really, really powerful music.
What's his name again? Wolfgang Van Halen, WVH. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, kind of good. Mammoth, I guess, was the first band his dad played in, so he kind of, dedicating his band to his dad a little bit.
Nice.
But so it's Mammoth, WVH. Amazing. That's their debut album. It's phenomenal. So, anyways, I'm a kind of a Van Halen nut, so this is kind of neat to see the next generation doing it. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yep. So that was kind of neat. That was I like this, the rapid fire. Maybe we do this every 10 episodes or so. We'll halt and we'll do a rapid fire, or maybe we'll have our listeners give us a list of rapid fire items for next time.
It'd be great. Comment below on YouTube if you have rapid fire questions. We'll save them for the next time we do this, and that'll be fun. And make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. It's the best way you can help us out. If you want to go behind the paywall, John has an OnlyFans page where we post pictures of his feet while he deadlifts and squats.
Yeah, sure.
And, yeah. What happens behind the paywall stays behind the paywall.
Yep, absolutely.
OnlyFans.com/the X Factor podcast.
It's basically the wilder version of this podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for you. This has been brought to you by our friends at Bottom Gun Coffee. Is not brought to you by Sheath Underwear just yet, as far as I know. But we would love to have them as a sponsor. That would be huge. And yeah, so stick that in your pouch.
Yep, both of them.
Jon Rennie.
Will do.
Signing off. Catch you next episode. We still have no clue what that'll be about, but we will not only surprise you, we'll surprise ourselves.
Every time. Absolutely. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.